that's what happened.
Interesting one. You must have a ton of those sort of stories.
Jesse? Oh yeah, shit. Jesse, what guys? Till this day, as long as I've been in business, as long as I still listen to him. I talked to him yesterday. I was asking him questions about this, and when he would give the answer, I'd keep my mouth shut and listen, just absorb the knowledge, stuff I never knew before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like about how to do angles, how to perfect your angles better and stuff like that. He would tell me how to do it, drills, how to do it, and all that stuff. And I was just sitting there, listening to him and everything. Yeah. Till this day, when he speaks to me, I shut up and listen. And even though I'm 61, he's 80, 82. I respect him so much. I'm real quiet and I listen to everything he says, man. Because I have a shit.
Always learning as coaches, aren't we?
There's a lot to learn. There's a lot I got to learn from Jesse Reid. You know what I mean? There's a lot I got to learn from Jesse. So, and all the stuff I didn't know before. So when I go to the gym, I'm going to start practicing all this new stuff that he was telling me. I'm like, oh. He goes, yeah, all this stuff he did with Orlando Canizales. He goes, you do it like that, you'll see your fighter shifting at angles better. Yeah, and getting more leverage on their punches, stuff like that. Yeah, I'll show you one day. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll make a video and I'll send it to you. Yeah, but yeah, Jesse, boy,
definitely.
I learned from him. And every time I saw Manuel, he talked, zipped the lip, listened, just absorbed this knowledge. Whether George too, Ben or Eddie, Joe Goosen, same thing. I talk, I listen. He talks, I listen. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're very, and Buddy McGirt too is a very wise boxing trainer. There ain't too many left, man, in boxing. I'm talking about guys from the 80s. Now you've got a lot of newer trainers, good trainers, but they started in the century. Okay, it's a difference. If you started back in the days, they would understand what boxing was really like back then, when it was mainstream, when it was popular, like the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, when it was a top of the line sport, not like now. It's not even popular now, man. In the States, in England, it's different, but in the States, there's only 350,000 hardcore fans left in the States. In the 80s, when I started, 70s, when I started watching, there were millions hardcore fans that were boxing fans. Now, only 350,000. Yeah. Anyway, that's it's pretty much.
There's no Muhammad Ali's now, are there, from the 70s, and no Sugar Ray Leonard's from the 80s. With boxers missing those great characters, aren't they?
There's no network TV like back in the days, 80s, 70s, 80s. Fights were shown on ABC, CBS, NBC on a consistent basis every week, and it was broadcasted to the masses. That created a lot of new fans. That created a lot of new fighters that were young kids. They saw it. I want to be a fighter. Now, because the absence of network TV is extinct, no more. Okay? So the little kids can't see boxing, but they can see the NBA or NFL. And the heavyweights, the big boys that used to go into boxing, they go into football or basketball. But because there's no network TVs out there that are broadcasting this to the masses where people could see, the big fights now are on pay-per-view. And when you do the big fights on pay-per-view, the audience shrinks, okay? It's not broadcasted mainstream. It's just to the hardcore fans. How the fuck are you going to grow your fan base if it's all the good fights are on pay-per-view all the time? You're not. You're not. It's got to be on network TV, on all the networks possible. So it's broadcasted to the masses consistently. So the next generation of kids become fighters, become heavyweights. Man, boxing is.
Yeah, some of my best memories.
On another show, I could tell you something me and Don talked about.
Yeah. So I mean, I grew up watching the boxing. Some of the best nights watching boxing: the Eubank versus Ben, the Watson, the Michael Watson, Steve Collins. Then later on, Nassim Hamid started off all on free TV. So that's what inspires the next generation, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's something magical happens when it's on free TV, broadcast to the masses. the sports grow as long as there's great competitive fights and the new generation of fighters come up. Okay, they don't go play in the fucking NBA or the NFL. Okay, you'll get guys that want to fight, that want to be fighters, but now, but England, like I said, England's mainstream. Okay, the heavyweight scene in England is more healthy than it is in the United States. The last heavyweight,
at the moment, definitely, yeah.
the last great heavyweight class that came out of the United States was in 1996. That class of heavyweights. They have my guy, Lawrence Claybay. He was a captain of the Olympic team. They had Lance Whitaker. The Klitschko brothers came out of that class. Joe Messi, Lamont Brewster, Charles Schufer, and there's a lot of other good heavyweights. Mahone, a lot of good heavyweights came out of the American USA amateur boxing, but other heavyweights from other countries like the Klitschko brothers and Corey Sanders, you know what I mean? David Tua, there are a lot of other heavyweights came up out of that 96 class.
That was a great decade for heavyweight boxing in the 90s, wasn't it?
They had a lot of heavyweights, but starting in 2000, the U.S. Olympic team, 2004, 2008, only one heavyweight, Deontay Wilder, 2012, 2016, 2020, none. Where have all the heavyweights gone? 1996 was the last great Olympic class of heavyweights. You talk about guys at Futch train, heavyweights from Futch train were pretty good. Pia Wolfgram, Duncan Dakawari, Christoph Mendy. Yeah, he had some pretty good heavyweights that he trained for Dan Goosen back in the days. Yeah, and probably maybe another one. Yeah, but
there was Chris Byrd. He was a middleweight in the amateurs, but he went up to heavyweight in the pros, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that his dad. I knew his dad real well, Joe Byrd. He was a national team coach, and it was in Vegas.
Okay.
I seen him at I think the Riddick Bowe Holyfield fight. So we had dinner afterwards. At the party, Riddick Bowe's party, and he told me that Chris is going to fight heavyweight. Are you fucking kidding me? But he did, but Chris had the athletic gifts to do it. He had better. Yeah. He was faster, had better reflexes, better skills. And he had a big set of balls too, going up and fighting them big boys. You know what I mean? And he had skills. A Bird, yeah, real crafty heavyweight man. Whew. Yeah, real crafty southpaw. Yeah, the Bird. Yeah, I remember his dad.
Yeah, he used that Michigan.
What's that?
He used that Michigan defense. To good effect, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a good athlete. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Michael Nunn was a good athlete. Okay. His brother, he had two brothers. One of them, Patrick. They weren't as good as him. They weren't athletically talented as Chris. Okay, Chris was athletically gifted. You know what I mean? I was told, Chris, man, you're the bravest man you're the baddest, bravest man I know in boxing, because you came all the way up to the heavyweight division, fighting the big boys and taking big punches where you could have stayed in the middleweight division. You know what I mean? Weird, but he had a great career, Chris. He fought a lot of big fights.
He did, yeah.
And I remember that night he beat David Tua.
That was a great performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, we fought on that card. We fought the co-main event on that card.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in Vegas at Claybay. Yeah, we fought the co-main event on that card. He fought David Tua, I remember, and boxed the shit out of David. Yeah, we were supposed to fight Chris. Huh?
That was going back to what you said about the jab, and the angles.
Oh, Chris?
Yeah. His jab and the angles was on point, wasn't it?
Hit you here, shift over and hit you. He was a middleweight fighting in the heavyweight division. He had the skills of a middleweight, but he was fighting in the heavyweight division. Heavyweights didn't have them type of skills and the defensive skills to avoid those punches. Chris is very elusive. He had good upper body movement, upper body flexibility, where he can move his body at different angles, and made his head a very difficult target to hit. You know what I mean? Pernell Whitaker was like that too. Mayweather was like that. You know what I mean? Guys with those physical athletic gifts you can't teach. And he had
Yeah.
reflexes too. He could see those punches. Yeah. But Chris, yeah, he was skilled. Oh yeah, I know him all the way now. In the amateurs when he came through the amateur ranks. Yeah. Yeah, I know him.
Wow.
Seen him. I seen them all, man. I seen them all. The
Yeah,
amateurs.
it's fascinating. It's
Seen them all.
fascinating. We just see. It's been fascinating just sitting there soaking it all up, listening to yourself talk. It's been great, and just like I said, I feel like I've learned more about boxing and becoming a better coach after this.
Well,
But
bring Jesse
yeah,
Reid on. You're gonna hear a lot more stuff than I did. Oh, that guy, boy, hey, look, he's one of the. Look, you need to bring him on because number one, he's one of the last of the Mohegans. Okay,
yeah,
he's one of the
definitely, yeah.
last. I mean, you're talking about guys like Futch, guys like
Mm,
Benton, Manuel Stewart, Jesse Reid, Joe. You're talking about guys, all the way from the '70s. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Longer than
that'd
I've
be
been in
great.
this sport.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
definitely be great to bring him on and speak to him because you like yourself as well. I've seen your videos from years ago on YouTube. Same with Jesse Reid. I've seen interviews of Jesse Reid on YouTube years ago. So all of a sudden to have him on and speak to him would be amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And he's still sharp as a whistle, boy. Still sharp. As to this day, he told me Orlando Canizales is the greatest fighter he ever trained. Yeah, and he's had some good ones, Jesse.
Yeah, he has. Been around a lot of
And
great fights, hasn't
he had some nut cases too. Bruce
he?
Curry, that was a nut case. Bruce Curry, oh, he was a real nut case. That was Donald Curry's brother, little brother. Yeah, but
Did Bruce
anyway, yeah,
Curry
Jesse.
did he fight Sugar Ray Leonard? I'm not sure.
He fought Monroe Brooks. I remember that. It was fight of the year. It was a war. They were cousins and they hated each other.
They were cousins fighting each other.
Don
Wow.
Chargan made that fight. Want to hear a story?
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
cousins. Don was at he was in Aram, Bob Aram's wedding, him and his
Mm.
wife Lorraine. And one of the executives from CBS came up to him. He said, "Hey, Chargan, I need a real barn burner fight for coming up on put on CBS. Would you have any? I really I need one because Don's reputation." Don goes, "Let me get back to you." He called him Monday. He goes, "Yeah, I got Monroe Brooks and Bruce Curry," and the guy never heard of him. He goes, "Just trust me. These guys hate each other. They're cousins. They hate each other. They want to kill each other, and they want to fight each other. They'll do it. They don't care about the money." The guy goes, "Okay, let's do it." What a war that was. This was about, fuck the boxing. I'm gonna beat your ass. You know what I mean? But we're
I,
gonna get paid and do it legally. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna go watch that. I'm gonna go watch that. I think in the coming days, I'm gonna YouTube that fight and watch it.
yeah.
Hopefully, it's
Bruce
up
Curry and
online. Yeah.
Monroe Brooks. It was a hell of a fight. Yeah, Don put that one together, man. I remember yeah, I remember
I
watching.
just can't believe cousins fought each other.
What's that?
I just can't believe the cousins fought each other.
Yeah,
So
they were cousins.
yeah.
If I remember, man, my mind. Yeah, if I recall, they were cousins. They hated each other. Yeah, they hated each other, and they just wanted to fight, on the street or wherever. And Don told him, "Hey, just wait till we get in the ring, and you'll get paid."
Yeah,
They
he
didn't
may as
give
well
a
get
shit
paid
about
for
it.
it.
Don said they didn't even give a shit about the money. They just wanted to fight each other. They hated each other. Yeah, and they were cousins. Yeah, yeah. Bruce Curry. That was a local. That guy was a nutcase, man. Jesse had his hands full. He was a world champion for Jesse though. Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah, he almost beat Benitez. Oh, he dropped Benitez like 2 or 3 times when they fought. Wilfred
Oh, wow.
Benitez when he was coming up. Yeah, yeah. He was a fighter, man. That Bruce Curry. He's a nutcase, but them kind of guys make the best fighters. They don't care.
That's true.
Right?
Mm.
He was a nut, and he can hit. And Monroe Brooks, man. Oh yeah, Monroe Brooks. Yeah, I remember him back in the days, man. And both were, Monroe. Sometimes he had motivation problems when he fought, but not when he fought his cousin. Nah, man. They wanted to fuck. Yeah, Don told me there was a lot of heated blood in that fight. Monroe. Yeah, crazy, huh? Boxing. And Jesse trained Bruce. Yeah, yeah. Jesse trained Bruce, man. Yeah, Jesse trained a lot of fighters, man. Jesus, man. He trains. Oh, man. He's
Mm.
yeah. and he still got a sharp mind.
Yeah, we
We were
we
talking
definitely
yesterday.
need to bring Jesse on.
Yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll talk to
Mm.
him. But yesterday, we were talking about Roger when he became the 140-pound champion, and I go, oh, yeah, when he knocked out Rene Arredondo, he goes, that's his name. He goes, man, you still remember that, James? And I said, yeah, I remember that. He fought him in L.A. Rene Arredondo was, I think, the WBC 140-pound champion, and I think Roger knocked him out. Yeah, in that fight, he became a two-time champion. He won the championship at 130 when he beat Sammy Serrano, a very good fighter. Puerto Rico. He had to go to Puerto Rico. Serrano was tall, rangy, and he could punch. A very, very difficult style to fight. Roger beat him. And because Serrano was a very good champion. Sammy Serrano. And Roger beat him and everything. Yeah, weird.
Wow.
Yeah, weird. But anyway, yeah, he'll tell you about Roger, Calvin Grove, Frank Tate, all the Tyson when he was training Tyson, all the, man, Jesse, yeah, he's just Camacho,
Wow.
Tapia,
Some
all these
characters
guys.
there.
Yeah,
Great fighters and great characters there.
yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, he's Jesse. Oh boy, and Canizales. Had him from the beginning all the way to the end of his career. 19 successful title defenses. Yeah, and Canizales was a pretty damn good fighter, man. Yeah,
Definitely.
it was beautiful. Yeah, but you'll learn a lot, man. Like I said, you got to talk to these people, then you'll learn knowledge. That's me. I didn't have
Exactly.
YouTube, or I didn't. What do you call it? I didn't have Instagram all the time. I had to be in the gym with these guys all the time, man. You know what I mean? And thank God, Larry Goosen had that gym in Big Bear, and everybody trained there at the same place. So I was like, fuck, it's like back then I didn't think much, but now I'm thinking, Jesus, that was a university of fucking boxing knowledge, man. Holy shit. You know what I mean? All them guys in the gym training, and you're like, all of them had great fighters. Oh, you're like, damn,
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, that was my
It's, yeah,
education.
it's great because I've interviewed a number of coaches now, and every time I interview a coach, I always learn. Because, like you
Good.
said, you've been around them, it's speaking for them for a few hours, and it makes me a better coach. So, which it's just
You got to
great
be
speaking
around
to
them.
people
You
like
got to talk
yourself.
to them.
Yeah,
Watching
exactly.
YouTube videos on them and reading about them, that gives you a good understanding. But to get a better depth of understanding, you got to talk to them. You got to talk to them, and
Definitely.
so it starts processing in your mind better, in
Yeah.
your DNA. Yeah, you got to be around them and everything. And I was lucky. Like I said back then, we didn't have YouTube or Instagram. Everything was personal relationships. And then you talk to them, call them on the phone, and shoot the shit more, or you see them at a fight and you go out or hang out with them, or you go back to the training camp and see them again. You know what I mean? Or you see the fighters.
Yes.
I know pretty much. Like I said, I've been in the gym with every damn near top fighter, man. I've seen that back in the days, man. Except Mike Tyson. That's probably the only guy I didn't get to see train because he had his gym like private and everything. So I could have
Okay.
if I wanted to because he was training in Big Bear and Denver.
Mm.
And Larry, we were training up there. Larry was running the gym, but I didn't want to, anyway, like everybody wanted to go watch him train, but I just, didn't and everything. So, but anyway, yeah, that was, yeah, boxing. Yeah, like I said, it's, you talk to different coaches, they have different experience. Teddy Atlas, oh,
Yeah.
he's got a shitload of stories to tell, man. Back in the day, everybody has a story, a good story, man. But like I said, the coaches that started back in the 70s and 80s, you know what I mean? I can relate to them more because that's when I started. Then
Yeah.
the newer coaches, they didn't get to experience all that stuff and, to see all that stuff and to interact with all these other trainers and everything. Now the trainers are, you know what I mean? They're a newer group. Good trainers though. Like Robert, he's a damn good trainer. Joel Diaz, good trainer. They're good trainers. I like them. And a few other guys. I think they're good. They're good trainers and they're good. They got a lot of success as trainers. There's I got to think. I got to think. But the
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
timers,
But
yeah,
it's important for us to learn from coaches like yourself and sort of keep that knowledge alive, keep that knowledge going. Because you guys are you guys are the trendsetters. You're keeping that old school. It's all gets passed down, doesn't it? So We've got to
Got to
keep
get
in
passed
touch.
down from generation to generation so it doesn't get lost. There's been a
Exactly.
bit,
Yeah.
there's been a big disconnect lately because of that
Mm,
Mayweather shit and the way they're training fighters now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And all the old school trainers are pretty much. There's only a few left now. I consider old school guys like Jesse Reid, Joe Goosen, Kenny Adams, Buddy. Buddy fought back then. He started
Mm,
training guys in mid '90s. His first fighter was an amateur, a guy named Brian Adams. Yeah, that's where I remember he started training him because I used to see him at the Nationals back then. And Buddy's a damn good coach. And but
he
besides
is.
that,
Yeah.
old you know what I mean? It's yeah, it's pretty much just only a few left and everything. See, I could talk. I see old timers. We know each other. We could sit down and talk boxing all the time because you know,
Mm,
it's like riding a bike and everything. But sometimes when I meet a new coach and I try to talk to them, we're not talking the same language. They don't understand.
mm,
They don't understand me. So I got to slow it down and explain it to them and everything. You know what I mean? And
mm.
because
Well,
sometimes I get above them and I'm like, hey, I got to slow it down because they just don't understand. You know what I mean? They're good people, but they just don't understand it, and they eventually will if they stick with it. They'll start talking, the same language, like Mr. Futch used to say, Eddie. Yeah, you got to talk the same language. You'll be on the same wavelength. So you know what I mean. But yeah, he was a good, damn good coach, and he had a good assistant coach at Thel Torrance. Yeah, he was yeah.
and
And
that's the thing as well. That's the
what's
thing
that?
for that's the thing as well for us coaches who are newer. We need to be around. We need to be around people like yourself. Um, yeah, it's like you say, just keep quiet and listen.
Tony Sims is a good coach. He trains out there, does he?
Yeah, he's I think he's head coach of Matchroom Boxing. He's a good coach. Yeah.
I think he's a good coach, Tony.
Mm.
I met him one time, talked to him. I think he's a good coach. Any other coach in England I met?
Ben Davidson's a good coach.
Ben Davison.
Shane McGuigan's he's doing well as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I'm sure there's probably some others
yeah. They're
that
doing
come
good.
to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've always got the Ingle Gym as well, haven't you? Which has always been producing fighters.
Ooh.
Good coaches there. The
Yeah.
Ingle Gym.
England's got some good coaches too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Would you say England?
Mm. Ingle
Shane,
Gym.
I like
Yeah.
Shane. Ben.
Shane McGuigan's good.
There's
Yeah.
some other,
Ben
there's some other
Davison.
good
Yeah.
coaches out there in England. Yeah. Yeah, they got some
Yeah.
good. Yeah, shit, England, you got to give them props. They got some good coaches out there. Yeah, yeah. America ain't the only one that got good coaches. England got some good coaches. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think America's just got
They're
the
just
history,
young.
hasn't it?
What's that? Yeah,
I think
they don't
America's
have the
got like the
history.
history, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they're more in the 21st century. They don't go back. They weren't even born in the 80s, okay, or the 70s, okay. They read about it and this and that, but it's different to read about it. You got then to experience it, okay, to be, you know what
Mm.
I mean, to experience it, and like I said, you can read, you can study YouTube videos, that gives you knowledge, but the experience in the sport gives you wisdom. Okay,
Yeah.
it gives you true wisdom and everything. Going through it.
Yeah.
But I don't know much about Ben, but the other kid, McGuigan, yeah, he's good. He's good. He's sharp. He's a good communicator. He's a good teacher. Yeah, he's a good corner guy. Yeah, I like him. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's Barry's young son. Barry.
That's it. Yeah. Barry McGuigan's.
Yeah,
Barry
I
McGuigan,
like
I'm
him.
sure you remember when he fought Pedrosa, Xavier
Yeah,
Pedrosa. One of the first fights I ever saw as a child was McGuigan versus Pedrosa. Yeah.
he looked beautiful that fight. Fought,
Mm.
pressured him, closed that distance. Okay, perpetual motion, head movement. Okay, he was always moving his head side to side. Threw beautiful hooks to the head, to the body, the uppercut, the left hook, them hooks to the body. McGuigan was brutal. When he got
Mm.
close, that's a combination you like to throw: the uppercuts, the hooks, and the left hooks to the body. And he was beautiful. And that McGuigan, yeah, he had a
Yeah.
hell of a fighter. That Barry.
He was a good
He
fighter.
lost to
Yeah.
Stevie. He lost to Stevie Cruz. When he came to the States, it was hot, real hot outside. The heat pretty much
Yes.
got to him. Yeah.
Mm.
Stevie Cruz out of Fort Worth. Yeah. A guy named Dave Gorman, manager, passed away. I knew who he was. I knew him, not good, but I knew him. He had a great trainer, Paul Reyes, the guy that trained Donald Curry, Gene Hatcher. They're all world champions. He had
Okay.
Paul Reyes. He was a good trainer. He's he's still living out here, but he's not training. But he trained the
Okay.
Stevie Cruz for that fight.
Mm.
And McGuigan, yeah, that heat really got to him, man. And that, he was trying to come to America to, become a star here. Hell,
Yeah.
he should have just kept it over there in Ireland, man. You know what I mean? Well, that McGuigan boy, he do some wicked uppercuts and short, compact hooks and hooks to the body, and he broke Pedrosa down as the fight went on. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Pedrosa, he was a long reigning champion. That was his 19th title defense, 20th title defense. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I think it was
well,
20th title defense.
credit to Pedrosa. He used to travel the world to fight. He wasn't no home field advantage for Pedrosa. He would go wherever to fight you, wouldn't he?
He went where the money was, man. There was no money in Panama. That's why he went to. That's why he went to Ireland or England. Yeah, he went where the money was. He was a champ. He was a champion, man. And champions back then, they behaved like champions. A world champion, he should be able to fight everywhere. But Pedrosa, basically, they were paying the money, man. I'm coming. Yeah. And he was a long reigning champion. The guy deserves some money, man. Because I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
some of them title defenses, he didn't get paid shit. Maybe 50,000, 45, 50. So when he went to England, I'm pretty sure he got a good six-figure payday. I don't know who the promoter of McGuigan was. It wasn't Duff. I can't remember. It wasn't Warren. It was somebody else. I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would have been like a 7-year-old watching that fight.
You were what?
I'd have been about 7 years old watching that fight.
Oh, okay. That
So,
was in 85. That was in 1985.
Yeah.
It was on ABC Wild World Sports. It was shown in the States, man. That's when boxing. Remember I said boxing was mainstream. It was shown in the United States in the summertime, I recall. And I just remember the raucous crowd, the loud, intense crowd that was behind McGuigan. How he was just walking into the ring. You could feel the energy. You know what I mean? You could feel the energy behind him when he was going to fight. McGuigan, how the fuck was he going to lose that night? You know what I mean? How was he going to lose that night when you got all those people behind you? You know what I mean? Nah, man, he wasn't.
Yeah, you sort of feed off that energy, don't you?
Have you ever met McGuigan? I never met him.
Yes. I met him once, but very briefly. It was a closed door sparring session. When I was at the gym, Derek Chisora was sparring. I can't remember who it was, but McGuigan briefly popped in, but so I didn't actually get to speak to him much. But so he came and watched some of the sparring, then he left. So yeah, I met him, but didn't really speak to him about boxing and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I never met him before, Barry. I never met him. I never met his son either, the trainer. Yeah, I never met
Shane
Barry.
McGuigan.
Guys from England I met were like Frank Warren, the promoter, the Hitman Hatton, Duff, yeah, Mickey. What a brilliant boxing mind he was. One of probably the greatest in England's greatest of all time in England. Yeah, because he controlled all the champions back then, man. Duff. Very influential, hustler, nude boxing in and out. And him and Chargan were like real tight.
Oh, wow.
But Tony Sims, I know him. I never met Eddie. His dad,
Barry Hearn.
Barry, yeah. Barry Hearns, yeah. Him and Don Chargan did a lot of business back in the days.
Okay.
Jose Luis Lopez beat his champion, Iman Lohan, WBO champion. He beat him, knocked him out in the first round. Then Willie Jordan, the guy I used to train, he knocked out. No, he beat, I think, Michael Brody. I don't know, some guy over there to win the title, back then in England, yeah. That was a long time ago. But Jose Luis Lopez, that was an exceptional God-given talent that Don had. Only like to train 2 weeks, 3 weeks for a fight. Shit, what a waste. Yeah. What a waste. Don told me he was the most natural talent he ever had as a fighter. natural puncher, natural chin, natural instincts, athleticism. But the motherfucker, he didn't like to train. He only liked to train 2 weeks for a fight. And it cost him. Yeah, it cost him. He won the title, though, 2 weeks of the fight. But when he fought guys like James Page, the WBA champ, who was beating the shit out of him, dropped him, could have put him away, but he couldn't knock him out because he wasn't in condition. Then when he fought Ike Corte, he dropped him twice, but he didn't have that condition, because he trained 2 weeks, 3 weeks for that fight, and Corte barely beat him. Razor thin majority decision, and Lopez dropped him twice. Yeah, natural. Yeah, man, come on, you train 2 weeks and fighting top level talent like that and barely losing. Yeah, just think if he got in a 6 week training camp. Yeah, I don't know if you know him, Jose Luis Lopez, Maestro. Yeah. Everybody was scared to fight him back then. De La Hoya was one. Yeah, Oscar De La Hoya.
I'll have to look him up. I have to look him up and watch some of his fights. Sounds very interesting.
Watch him when he fought Joy Boy Campus. Watch him when he fought Iman Lohan. Watch him when he fought James Page, the WBA champion. Watch him when he fought Ike Forte. Watch him when he fought Aaron Davis, Superman. He moved up to middleweight. The fucking guy trained 10 days for that fight, and he still won a draw with him. The guy, yeah, like I said, man, Don, that was a big disappointment. Every time that motherfucker Don got him a fight, every time Don was so worried that he would have to call the fight off because they couldn't find him. The guy was partying and this or that, and he would show up 2 weeks, 3 weeks, not even 3 weeks. 3 weeks was kind of cutting it. Don said he would 2 weeks for the fight, 10 days, he start training. Yeah. yeah.
Reminds me a bit of Wilfred Benitez.
Benitez trained harder, though, okay?
Really?
Benitez, yeah. This guy only trained 10 days, okay? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he was pushing it. Yeah, Don told me, man, the kid just didn't like to train. He liked to party, he liked the nightlife, but he didn't like to train. And he was such a physically gifted fighter. Don used to promote his dad. His dad was a solid fighter, 10-round fighter. But the son was better. He was just so more naturally, gifted. Heavy, like I said, you can't teach the heavy hands, a solid chin, instincts, you know what I mean? And the body punches, the upper, oh man, yeah. Solid fighter. He knocked out Yori Boy Campus. He made him quit. And he only trained 10 days for that fight when they fought. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. When Don was worried he was going to have to call that fight off. 2 weeks for the fight. They couldn't find him, man. They couldn't. Where's he at? And all of a sudden he shows up in the gym 10 days. Oh, man. And I'll be ready, man. I'll be ready. He always made weight. And he destroyed Campus. And Campus was a pretty damn good fighter.
He's a good fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
He fought De La Hoya, didn't he?
Yeah, he fought
Campus, fought De La Hoya, yeah.
He fought Trinidad. He fought Vargas. Yeah. Yeah, that Campus was a good fighter. Yori Boy. Ramon Yori Boy Campus, Sonora, Mexico. Solid chin, short, compact punches, power in both hands. But shit, Lopez walked right through him, man. Yeah, that Lopez is one. Yeah, he was one bad dude, man. But pain in the ass, man. You know what I mean? And after the Aaron Davis fight, Don sick of him, man. Again, you know what I mean? Got tired of the bullshit, man. So he got released, and I don't know where he's at now. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. Jose Luis Lopez from Durango, Mexico. Yeah.